So for us Kenyans, most of us, we have ugali in our diets, we have rice in our diets, and then occasionally, you do your chapatis and whatever. So instead of looking for gluten-free flours so that you can make gluten-free chapatis, you can just delete chapatis from your diet entirely and maintain your starches, which is still ugali, still healthy to a degree, though some people will say this is debatable.
If you're going to have affordable food, you should know that obviously going to the actual market is cheaper than the supermarket, which is cheaper than having it delivered.
Yes, correct. And the beauty of going to the market is you get to also see, like, when it comes to starches, for instance, there's so much variety in the market than the supermarket, because that's where you get your sweet potatoes, which are gluten-free. You get your cassava.
I think that's a fair introduction of Samantha Mugeni
And Darren Collins.
And together we are the
Gluten
Warriors. We worry about gluten.
All the time.
All the time.
Every time. All the damn time.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, it's just you. Okay. Hi,
so
Sam.
much enthusiasm. Hi, Darren. How are you?
I'm worried about gluten.
Always.
Every time.
Yeah?
All the time.
Okay. Me too. So what shall we do about it?
Well, today we have to talk about the fact that gluten-free living can also be expensive if indeed you are going that route. So we're going to talk about affordable eating of gluten-free foods and how to sort of manage that.
All right. I mean, that sounds a bit difficult, but we'll try, just because,
Well, you brought up a good point.
As soon as anything is slapped with a gluten-free label as like plus $5 extra.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you had a tip earlier that you were talking about
yes,
just the baseline way to save money eating gluten-free.
Yeah, which is don't look for alternatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally when you find out that you can't eat food that has gluten, say like cakes, biscuits, and whatever, you go looking for gluten-free cakes, gluten-free biscuits, and stuff like that. Gluten-free bread, gluten-free pasta.
Gluten-free mixes.
Yes.
Flour.
Yeah, gluten-free soups. What are those soup things called? The ones that you used to make. You understand what I'm saying.
Somebody does.
Someone does.
Not your co-host. But that's okay, because the whole point of this is that if you're looking for alternatives, yes, you're absolutely going to spend more money. It's going to be harder.
Yeah. So you're better off just sticking to like the usual. So for us Kenyans, most of us, we have ugali in our diets, we have rice in our diets, and then occasionally, you do your chapatis and whatever. So instead of looking for gluten-free flours so that you can make gluten-free chapatis, you can just delete chapatis from your diet entirely and maintain your starches, which is still ugali, still healthy to a degree, though some people will say this is debatable. And rice is also still healthy. And there's so many things you can do with rice.
Absolutely. And also that I even noticed, I was shopping on Glovo the other day and it said healthy alternatives and it had gluten-free something rather. And I was like, that's actually less healthy than the gluten version.
Yeah.
Gluten-free does not mean healthier.
Yes.
It does mean that you're not going to get sick, but they're substituting that gluten with maybe more sugar or other starches that are not necessarily the best.
Correct.
It's not actually true that your alternative things that are labeled gluten-free are healthier.
Yeah.
They're just not going to make you sick.
That's true.
So avoiding it altogether is actually the cheaper way to do it.
Yep.
And it's less hassle.
And you still get to stay healthy and wealthy to a degree, right? Because like how much is ugali flour as compared to gluten-free flour?
Right.
Yeah. One is 5x.
That's certainly true. And also, and this is just sort of a side note, is that once you commit to becoming gluten-free, you'll find that that's quite a lot of elimination. It really is not easy.
Yeah.
But almost everything else health-wise is easier than that. So dropping sugar out of your diet, removing other things that are less healthy, like unhealthy oils, etc. That is one of the areas where I would say that it's more expensive to have healthier oils for sure.
Yeah,
but
healthy oils
just
are
the idea
pricey.
of eliminating other things like sugary drinks out of your diet, that just becomes easier too.
Yeah, and even junk food, right? Because you're removing biscuits, you're removing cakes. That's all of the sugar. some high fat foods like certain crisps and things like that. Yeah. So the option is just have your nuts and eat your fruits.
Yeah. Now that's the tricky part when it comes to nuts. If you want to save money, the healthier nuts are the more expensive ones. The cheapest ones are peanuts, which don't necessarily have as much nutritional value as some of the other like cashews or macadamias or whatever.
Yeah.
But that is the cheapest alternative is certainly ground nuts or peanuts.
Yeah, true. However, it also depends on where you're getting them from.
Okay.
Right? So if you go, say, I don't want to call it the source, but say you go to the source, like with cashew nuts.
Cashew tree?
Yes. And there are a lot of cashew trees at the coast.
Yeah, there are.
So if you're at the coast, cashew nuts are cheaper.
Macadamias too. Yeah.
And macadamias as well, as opposed to if you're going to buy your cashew nuts and your macadamias from the supermarket. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so some of the typical things apply. Like if you're going to have affordable food, you should know that obviously going to the actual market
Yes.
is cheaper than the supermarket,
Yes.
which is cheaper than having it delivered.
Yes, correct. And the beauty of going to the market is you get to also see, like, when it comes to starches, for instance, there's so much variety in the market than the supermarket because that's where you get your sweet potatoes, which are gluten-free. You get your cassava. What else is there?
What's the purpley ones? The
Purple ndoma, arrowroot.
arrowroot, yeah.
Yeah. And pumpkins. I don't like pumpkins. But apparently they're healthy. I like pumpkin soup. I made pumpkin soup
I
yesterday.
did a joke last night on stage that you can call your baby pumpkin, but you can't call her merengue. Like that. Everyone agreed with me. Doesn't work in Swahili. Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was a new joke. On stage. That worked out pretty well.
Did you just come up with it yesterday?
The concept I was aware of a long time ago when I was writing a script for a series of sketches in mother tongue languages, and we came across a character who was calling her little kid, "Hey, pumpkin," and then they started to translate it, and everyone was like, "We can't translate this.
No.
This is going to have to be the English only version."
Because like in Swahili, when you call someone merengue, you're basically calling them dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which.
But they're pumpkin.
Anyway, pumpkin is.
Yes.
I find it delicious.
Yeah, I made pumpkin soup yesterday. Also,
Pumpkin soup is amazing.
and it was so
Hot
good.
in the blender.
Yes, everything, the whole shebang. I did some spices. It was like heaven.
It really is. It's time consuming. That's the trade off. The affordable stuff, well, not all of it, but some of it is more time consuming.
But that one wasn't so much. Oh, because I got the pumpkin already boiled.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't.
Yeah, so that wasn't necessarily the most affordable way to do it, but it was the fastest.
It was the fastest. Well, it's just one of those. My housemate got the pumpkin from home, from her parents' house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. And then she was like, we need to find a way to eat this. And I was like, I have an idea. We can make soup.
Absolutely.
And she's like, you prosper. And I don't know why she trusted me to prosper, considering I cannot be trusted in the kitchen. I almost burnt boiled eggs the day before.
Burned boiled eggs?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but I almost did it.
I'd like to talk to you about this more because that seems like a level of incompetence I never heard before. And so now I'm second guessing whether or not all right, we'll talk about some other time. Burned boiled egg. You just left them on. It boiled down all the way, water boiled all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because I remember just hearing like a pop.
Yeah. They exploded in your pan. That's great.
And it's so
I like
bad
that you can
because
mess
like
that up.
how do you get a non-stick pot to pop? Like
Yeah.
anyway.
Leave eggs in it. That's
Safe
funny.
to say, people are still trusting me with the kitchen, and I made really great pumpkin soup yesterday. And I did not have to use cornstarch, which sometimes could have gluten in it.
Now, that's something I hadn't heard before. Since when would cornstarch ever have gluten in it?
I don't know. There's like, it's the modified starch that has gluten in it.
Modified food starch can sometimes be.
Right.
Generally speaking, the guys are labeling what the modified food starch is made from these
Yeah.
days. Used to be a real problem with being gluten-free with modified food starch.
Oh, yeah?
But no, cornstarch would be the alternative to that.
I
Or
just canceled.
Could be an alternative to it.
I canceled all the starches because I was like, I might forget which one is which. So I just decided all starches are terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, but thank you for clarifying this for the audience.
Yeah, nowadays
I
they'll
need to
put in
know.
parentheses like modified food starch and then in parentheses from corn. If there is no parentheses there, then be a little bit wary because generally speaking, they might be using wheat flour.
Wheat flour.
But nowadays, yeah, you might see a little note of what kind of modified food starch it is.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. I'm still going to avoid them.
Monosodium glutamate sounds like gluten, but it's okay.
What?
Monosodium glutamate,
Monosodium glutamate.
whatever. It's not gluten. It's something else. MSG.
Oh, because of the glutamates, it might sound like gluten.
There's some other thing that sounds gluteny that isn't.
Okay.
But yeah. But in terms
And that's
of
found in like snacks, I guess.
yeah, prepared foods.
Okay.
Yeah, which we're trying to avoid. So we're trying to do low cost. So we're staying away from
Yes.
that. So being a bachelor as well, I've tried to figure out a hack for as many cheap, fast things as I can.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think one of the big things to do is like make a lot of rice when you're making a rice dish, so you have leftovers. Because leftover rice is really great for fried rice.
Yes.
And so that's super tasty, and you tend to not get sick of the rice as quickly.
That's true.
if your second or third dish is the fried rice version.
Yeah.
But
What's
so-
your go-to fried rice? What's your go-to fried rice?
Go to?
Yeah, like
What do you
how do you make your fried? Because like I prefer egg fried.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, egg fried rice for sure. And so
Yeah.
I will wait for the rice to be a day old in the refrigerator. And then I'm going to throw a nice high quality oil and with onions first and fry the onions first. And then I'm going to add the rice. And then at the end, I will add 2 eggs or something in the middle at the very, very last.
Yeah.
Until that's done. And then it's usually done. But I make sure I fry it until it begins to be crispy.
Yes.
It needs that crisp on it to taste extra good.
That's the trick.
And of course, if I have extra meats around, like a pork or something, I'm going to put that like bacon or something in there. But it's not low cost.
Yeah, bacon is not low cost.
Yeah, so just to remove that part of it.
Yeah.
But then I'll add a little bit of tomato, but not much. But that's also at the end, not in the beginning.
Interesting. So when I do it,
And garlic.
I take the tomato raw.
Yes.
Like I don't add the tomato in the
At all?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
it's like a salad thing. So I
Okay.
eat with
To the fried rice.
with the raw tomatoes.
But certainly add garlic in with the onion.
Yeah. Oh, and that's also like another trick, right? Using the whole spices because they're cheaper when you buy them in the market. Like if you're using garlic, ginger, stuff like that, it's cheaper than going to buy powdered.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also healthier. Really.
So and that's what I would do to begin with is that make sure your pantry or what you've shopped for, you've got dania, you've got ginger, you've got garlic, and you've got onion, and you have tomato because
Yes.
that's going to help you make most of your dishes.
Yeah.
And so for breakfast, the fastest thing I'm going to do and the cheapest thing is I'm going to do eggs
Yeah.
with those 5 things, maybe not the ginger and not necessarily even the garlic, but but the dania and the onion and the tomato along with the eggs, which would be scrambled or they could be an omelet.
Or they could be boiled. Don't even need oil for that.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems to be my least favorite way to make it. I love eggs in almost every fashion.
Yeah,
boiled
but
is
not
probably-
boiled eggs?
It's just my least favorite. That's all.
I like boiled eggs
Yeah.
when I'm not burning them.
Yeah, and I don't mind them. It's just that I'm never going to make them. Yeah.
Okay.
Deviled eggs, however.
Deviled eggs are good.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's a different subject. So for breakfast, that's covered. But then I'm also going to have I might take pili pili hoho and just cut into strips and just lightly fry that and add that on the side.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have potatoes almost every morning along with, so I do it sort of American way. I take a cheese grater and I grate the potatoes into tiny little pieces.
Yeah.
And then I fry those in oil. And then I have that's how I take my potatoes in the morning.
With the cheese or?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm trying to do it low cost because cheese is never low cost.
Cheese is not low cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that it just becomes what we call hash browns. And make them golden brown and flip them over. And then I have that with the eggs. And then I'll have some sort of one of the cheaper yogurts or maziwa mala or something
Yeah.
to go with it. And that's sort of my breakfast usually. And add a banana. And then, but no juices. I don't take any juices.
Okay. That's okay.
And that's a hearty and inexpensive. We're talking just banana, eggs, and a potato.
Yeah. Because I'll do the boiled eggs, like 2, with cachumari.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's like your nyanyas, your onions, a bit of capsicum, the green ones specifically, some lemon juice.
Yeah, that's a
and
really
et
low cost
voila.
way to do it. Now, of course, that's a good idea. Is also maybe instead of a banana, have an avocado.
Avocados are the best.
I generally just eat half the avocado with my breakfast
Oh,
and
okay.
save the other half for the next morning.
I did like a quarter.
A quarter.
Yeah.
I'm giant. I take 4 eggs when I make the omelet too.
4.
Yeah. People say it's too much protein. It's not. It's not too much protein. People are crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm just hungry. So
Yeah.
I definitely have 3 eggs, but most of the time I have 4.
Yeah, I don't think I can eat all 4 in one sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool, like for breakfast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to have bread. You
No,
can
not
have
at all.
potatoes instead, right?
Yeah. And don't get an alternative bread. No,
Yeah.
None of that's necessary.
And there's also like, the arrowroots or sweet potatoes.
I've actually switched to sweet potatoes for my hash browns now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do those taste? I've never had sweet potato hash browns.
It's great. And
Yeah?
the thing is, I think it's considered like a slower carb. So you don't, because fried potatoes is not exactly a great way to maintain your body shape. But a sweet potato is probably a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Cassava. Have you ever had cassava for breakfast?
Maybe,
For any meal?
Maybe at one of these hotels when I'm on the road,
Okay.
they might throw it in on breakfast.
Yeah.
But generally no.
Yeah. I think the issue with this other like potato tuber starches, are they called tubers?
Tubers.
Yeah, the sweet potatoes, the cassavas, the arrows, is that it takes a lot of time to prepare. And maybe that's why guys shy away from them. They're definitely more affordable, but like who has the time?
Okay. Yeah. No, I generally don't have the time.
Yeah.
But back to the rice thing is that for dinner, what I will tend to do, which is not the cheapest way, but you could quickly see how to do it cheaper, is I get one of those little pre-prepared, pre-cut up spring mix of vegetables that probably has the green beans and some carrots and maybe some corn or some chilies, and it's already cut and ready to go. And I'll stir fry that, have the rice, and then also take chicken breast and just cut it into strips. And I can do all that in the same frying pan, not the rice.
Yeah.
One after another, and have a really healthy meal that's really fast.
Like chicken stir fry with rice.
Yeah, chicken stir fry with rice.
That's healthy also.
And it just tastes great. That's fine. One of the things about this is that I think for those of us who've been spoiled with nice foods most of our lives and then go gluten-free is that you're looking for more flavor.
Yes.
But and this is just a side note, nothing to do with gluten, but if you actually eliminate sugar from your diet and really, 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 really reduce salt from your diet, everything starts to taste better.
Really?
Well, after a few months of not having sugar or much salt, the natural flavors of things really stand out because your mouth isn't being constantly inundated with these things that are overstimulating it. You start to appreciate pili pili hoho more. You start to appreciate the flavor of even your chicken strips or your chili mix or whatever. Regular vegetables like green beans and corn, sweet corn, start to taste amazing because you're not having fruit juices with all of your meals. You're not having Cokes,
That's true.
etc. And everything sort of changes.
So what's the alternative? We should just drink water.
Yeah, I really only drink water, milk, and coffee.
Okay.
And maziwa mala, but that's more like a meal.
But that's milk.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So
Yeah, that's all I really drink. I just have started to refuse to drink calories. And the exception would be like if I have like an alcohol.
yeah,
Then you're definitely drinking sugar.
but you don't drink as much.
I really don't.
Yeah. So okay, I think I want to try that.
It just really helps everything else taste great.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, I'll give it a try because when you go gluten-free, a lot of the gluten-free options tend to not be as tasty.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
But don't be
It's like
overwhelmed
eating
by this.
cardboard.
If you're new to be gluten-free living, don't try to change everything at once.
Yeah.
But you probably will find that other dietary restrictions are quite a bit easier once you've finally figured out gluten-free living.
Yeah.
But other great things is having ugali is great.
Ugali is fantastic.
Especially if you have now when it comes to cheap meat, that's harder. Meat is obviously more expensive.
Yeah.
But your healthier meats, these aren't really, are they considered meats? But I have chicken gizzards, chicken livers, and I have beef liver.
Yeah.
That's usually not near as expensive. And if it's prepared well with your with your dania and your onion and your tomato and your ginger and
garlic.
your garlic,
Yeah.
then this can start to taste really, really good. And you haven't spent very much money, and it's way healthy.
Yeah. And you don't have to change anything about like your lifestyle per se, because you were likely already eating that.
Yeah.
Before you found
with
out.
ugali and then like whatever greens you're having, sukuma wiki or something.
Yeah.
Like if you take your time with sukuma wiki and add other little ingredients, it begins to taste really
It could be
super
really
too.
good. Like I make my skooma with onions and garlic.
Yeah.
Saute.
That's the way to go.
So good. And salt, of course.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I find that it tastes better than when you make it with tomatoes.
Yeah, you're right. But basically, if you're purchasing all of your ingredients in a traditional way and just avoiding any substitutes, it is going to be low cost. And now it's just a matter of how fast can I make it. I don't see a quick path to making pilau. It's not fast.
Well,
The prep for all the vegetables and everything, it does.
but
take a
doesn't
while.
require a lot of things.
But I also
Unless you're making for like many people,
Yeah.
then it takes some time. But like for a small group of people, if you know what you're doing,
it's more than an hour.
I take less than an hour.
Really, did you? Okay.
Yeah, and I've been
I also
told my
boil the
pilau
meats.
is fantastic.
I tend to boil the meats down to make them as soft as possible before I do any cooking with them.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh, yeah,
time
because that depends on the meats you're buying also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay. Going to wrap it up.
I
Got
guess
2
so.
minutes.
That's really it. Is just encouraging people to eat traditionally, and you'll find that it is cheaper. Now, when I do delivery, I'll do for the Glovo bargains.
The Glovo bargains.
They basically Glovo has like their own supermarket that's not really named.
Okay.
They're not giving you the best stuff for certain, but they are delivering it pretty quickly, and it's the least expensive when it comes to delivery.
Oh, okay. I think also like if you're getting deliveries from Carrefour, they have a lot of offers.
Yep.
Chandarana as well also
they have a lot
do
of
a lot of offers. So you can just be on the lookout for the offers.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't tend to be on the lookout. Like I just don't like to think about shopping for food.
Okay.
But when I open the app, I'll just go to the bargains and get
Oh
those
yeah.
things.
Then you just get them right there. The Chandarana app also has the same where when you open the app, it starts with the deals, and then now you can pick. You can
Wait,
go.
Chandrana has their own app?
It's so I don't know how they do it. The app is called, one second. I always forget the name. I just know it's green. Grocery Pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And
you just go to Grocery Pick and then that's the app for Chandarana.
Do you get are the vegetables that come fairly good or?
Very good. And what I really love about this, guys, because this is my issue with Carrefour before. With Carrefour, when they don't have what you've ordered, they either don't put it or they give you an alternative without consultation.
Yeah.
With Grocery Pick, they'll call you and they'll tell you, hey, we saw you ordered, say, 0.5 kg of this particular beef, but we don't have that. What we have is this other one. Should we put that for you or are you okay to do without? So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a nice feature because sometimes I've had some pretty bad vegetables come through or just or I had an alternative. That
Yeah.
wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's, I don't know, it's so convenient.
Up next, restaurant review with Sam and Darren.
I was craving chapatis recently. So I have my chapati dealer. Never fails me.
I am raising an eyebrow.
Because
think I
you don't trust it as gluten-free. It was very gluten-free. They're called Soul Vegetarian. They're in Westlands. Soul Vegetarian. SOUL
Okay.
Vegetarian.
All right.
Kenya. So they only make vegetarian dishes and gluten-free dishes. And they have not failed me once since I started ordering from them. So that's where I get my gluten-free cookies. If I want something that's like, freshly baked, still warm.
Soul Vegetarian in Westlands.
Yeah.
Did they deliver or they have a location?
They have a location and they deliver.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got chapatis and I got my housemate to try the gluten-free chapatis. Guess what?
What?
She loved them. She's like, oh my God, this is tasty. She was shocked.
All right, I'll try that.
You should.
Oh, I haven't. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So good.
Why didn't you tell me about this place?
Why did you never ask me about
a little
chapati
bit
before?
offended. Why would I ask you about soul vegetarian if I've never heard of it?
Why do you should ask about gluten-free chapati? I just assumed you removed
I go
chapati
into
from your
our
diet.
little WhatsApp group and say, I've eaten here. And you don't do that.
Oh yeah, I
You're sort
should start doing that.
Yeah.
And to be a better
You
friend.
always
I'm
seem so
sorry.
happy when I write something in.
I'm always so happy when you write
So
stuff.
you should write something in so I can be happy.
Okay. I'm gonna spam you with so much content, Darren.
That's great. Have you been
You
to
will
Fit
regret
Kitchen?
this. Where?
Have you been to Fit Kitchen?
I haven't been, but I've eaten from there. Also, didn't I recommend Fit Kitchen to you?
I don't know because we used to do stand-up comedy there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the service is garbage.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of people. But the gluten-free stuff is good.
Oh, the menu is amazing.
It's so good. Have you tried the tacos?
Yeah, I've tried everything.
You've tried everything.
I think everything gluten-free on the menu because we used to do comedy there. So again, I was just eating there all the time.
Yeah.
And even their delivery, like I've had breakfast take 2 hours.
Yeah, the delivery is super slow.
It's really bad. I actually went in there one time to eat just because I didn't want to get delivery. And I watched someone else's delivery order sit there for an hour.
What?
It's like it's on the counter, bagged up, and no one's getting it. Like whoever's ordering that is sad.
That's terrible.
But the lady who runs it, like her idea and her menu and her everything about the concept is great. It's just the staff is like just
not the best. I love the tacos. Both the
I've had
the red one and the green one. The red one is beetroot. It's a beetroot taco.
They have a beetroot burger too.
And then they have a beetroot burger.
I mean, the bun is red.
Yeah. Is it good?
Yeah. Everything's good.
I haven't had the burgers. I always just order tacos from there.
I've actually been served a burger where the bun was frozen. I was like, hey, yo.
How am I going to eat
You
this?
need to thaw this stuff out. Again, the menu is great. It's just the follow through is not.
Yeah, they need to work on their service.
I guess.
Because they have some
I
good
don't know how to
stuff.
run a restaurant.
They have
It
some
seems
good
like it's
stuff.
impossibly hard.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway, that's our tips for now.
Yep. We'll let you know if we come across more. And you can also share your hacks and how you're living affordably gluten-free with us
Absolutely.
as you go along. Yeah.
The internet is your friend. look for food prep and ideas.
Yes.
Because it always will be cheaper, of course, to make quantity. So the first investment you're going to make is going to be plenty of food storage containers.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes a long way. Especially if you're like one of those people who do meal prep.
Yep.
Do you meal prep?
Occasionally, maybe once a month, I do that.
Oh, okay. I don't meal prep.
Yep.
I cook on vibes. And they rarely show up.
Well, I appreciate your vibe, Sam.
Thank you, Darren. It was great having you today.
And thanks for watching or listening.
The Gluten Warriors Podcast is produced by Arrow Digital. The show is executive produced by Eva and Sam Mugeni. Our editing is done by Voicebox Studios. Join us next Wednesday for another episode of The Gluten Warriors. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, AfriPods, and wherever you get your podcasts from.